There it sat, the old piano, worn from years of melodies, its wooden frame marked by time and the countless hands that had brushed its keys. But this piano was more than just an instrument. It was a storybook, each note a chapter, each chord a brush stroke in the great canvas of music history. The piano, invented in the early 1700s by Bartolomeo Cristofori, revolutionized the world of sound. Before the piano, musicians relied on the harpsichord, an instrument that lacked the dynamic range to express the full range of human emotion. But with the piano, suddenly, music could speak louder, softer, with a force of tenderness. Just as a painter could choose between bold strokes or fine, delicate lines. Throughout history, the piano has not only shaped music, but inspired visual artists too. Take, for instance, the work of Romantic painters, who were often captivated by the deep emotional currents of piano compositions. Some of the most famous painters, like Edgar Degas, painted scenes of musicians at the piano, capturing the intensity of their focus, their hands flowing over the keys, as though painting with sound. To watch someone play the piano can feel like watching a painter at work. Each note a stroke of color, each phrase a complete form. In many ways, music is a kind of invisible painting, an impression of emotion and experience that exists in the mind's eye as much as in the ear. In the 19th century, a composer would come along whose music would forever change how we think about the piano. Claude Debussy. His most famous work, Clair de Lune, which translates to Light of the Moon, is often described as the perfect musical embodiment of the Impressionist era in painting. In the early 20th century, the modernist art movements found inspiration in music's abstract qualities. Artists like Wassily Kandinsky believed that music, especially the piano, could evoke visual experiences without needing to represent anything concrete. The writer sat at his old piano for weeks now. He had tried to conjure a melody, but his hands just couldn't find it. The yellowed sheet of music before him remained stubbornly blank. Across the room, her hat had rested on a chair, a memory frozen in time. She had a way with music, Irish to the core, songs seemed to spring naturally from her. Exhausted, he closed his eyes. Resting his head against the piano as sleep overtook him, in the half-light of his slumber, she appeared, her green dress flowing into the shadows around her. She sat at the piano, her fingers moving gracefully. It was hard to tell where her hands ended and the piano began, blending together in a swirl of light, color and shadow. Yet, as her form blended with the room, the music was perfectly clear. Each note shimmering with emotion, weaving together into the melody he had longed for. The sound wrapped around him, every note striking a chord deep within his soul. As the final note hung in the air, she began to fade, her figure dissolving into the shadows, like paint washed from a canvas. The room was empty again, and the silence returned. But the melody remained. He woke with a start, his heart racing. He grabbed the pen beside him and frantically began to write. The melody flowed onto the paper, each note a reflection of the dream, achingly beautiful, filled with depth of emotion he had never been able to put into words. So next time you hear a piano playing, close your eyes and listen closely. Perhaps you'll begin to see the music, not just hear it, turning sound into color, motion into vision, blending the two into a dance that's as old as art itself.